He's outspoken, honest, and isn't one to be humble. In this special edition of the bonus round, my one-on-one with David Jaffe continues. Does Calling All Cars really use the full potential of the PS3?
You know, we're using the Warhawk engine. It's actually a pretty advanced game under the hood.
Will David one day start his own independent game studio?
I think it's a great idea.
And could he ever return to direct another God of War-sized epic?
No. I might go back to that. Right now, this is the path I want to be on.
Find out next as the bonus round continues. Hey, we're back on the bonus round with David Jaffe talking about your new game, Calling All Cars, which is coming mid-April to the PlayStation Store for under $10. Now, this is a departure for you. We've talked about that, and last time we were talking about the idea of, is this a risk for you to do this game? And some people would say it's a risk going from big epic games like God of War to a smaller title like Calling All Cars, but the actual style of gameplay is, it's a simple arcade game. It's not like it's particularly risky like a Flow or something, right? That you're really just trying to completely do something.
Right, no, I mean, it's not, I've never really been a guy who feels the need to design innovation for the sake of innovation. Because I probably couldn't do it. Right. You know, I'm pretty much, if you look at any game I've done, it's like, oh, I took this and I took this and I squished them together and I added my own little candy wrapper to it. I mean, Twisted Metal is Mario Kart Battle Mode. Yeah, fair enough. I'm so cool with that. I have no issues with that. I mean, you know, so we took NBA Jam, we took NFL Blitz, we took some of our own stuff, and we said we want to make a game that evokes those feelings. And those are not new feelings. We're not, like, for example, with Flow, I think you could say, you play that and it potentially evokes feelings that you haven't necessarily had playing a video game.
Right.
Calling All Cars, it's like, look, if you want the feelings that you get when you get competition and tension and camaraderie, that's what we're trying to do. So yeah, the actual pure mechanics, they were challenging, but no, it wasn't a risk like, oh, we don't know if this is gonna actually be playable or not. Right. That was not the risk.
Is it a risk though to bring it out on PlayStation 3? Because some people would argue this is, you know, $500-$600 console, and you're putting out, you know, kind of a simple arcade game. Is that kind of akin to, like, you know, buying a Ferrari and then deciding to, you know, put like a 8-track tape in the stereo or something? I mean, is it something that really maxes out, you know, the power of that system?
I think if you're the kind of person,
or should it be like a flash game or, you know, something on the PC?
Well, it couldn't be. I mean, it's pretty. You know, we're using the Warhawk engine. It's actually a pretty advanced game under the hood. I mean, there's a lot going on. But I mean, certainly, yeah. Look, we're not a technological showpiece for the PlayStation 3, but I don't understand that logic. It's like, you know, it's $9.99. You can download it sitting from your couch with your buddies. Are you having fun? That's the only criteria to me. I don't. And there have been plenty of games I've played where the graphics make my eyeballs bleed. They're beautiful, and after 20 minutes, I'm done.
Is there a worry though that because, you know, PlayStation 3 is so expensive, they're, you know, mostly hardcore people that have it right now, and this is more of a mainstream game?
There's not a worry, but I think that was sort of something that we came to realize about 6 months ago, which was, you know, we basically picked a very, we made two mistakes, I think, in the design. One is that we basically made a game that I think will satisfy gamers. I mean, hardcore, lightcore, whatever, but gamers. This is, Calling All Cars is definitely a game for gamers. It's not for soccer moms. It's not the same demographic as Diner Dash, okay? At the same time, though, the thematic we put on top of it, which I love the thematic, clearly I think can be off-putting to certain gamers because it's not violent or realistic.
And why not do that? Why not do, you know, Calling All Twisted Metals?
Looking at it now, if I was really, you know, I'm a little torn, right? Because on one hand, I think that may have not Calling All Twisted Metals, but doing it the exact same gameplay with a thematic that was probably a little bit more edgier or mature. I think that probably would have been a smarter business move. But what I also think is really cool about the downloadable space is that, you know, we want to be able to take more chances. And it's like, you know, good Lord, this game costs under $1 million. We're selling it for under $10. If you can't take a chance, either play-wise or thematically in that space, then we're just done. I mean, how sad is that? You know, so on one hand, I'm kind of proud of the fact that we like, you know what, this is exactly what we wanted it to be, thematically and play-wise, and hopefully there'll be enough gamers to sort of enjoy what we've done. But at the same time, you're right, it is a little nerve-wracking that it's like, you know, God, do we always have to apply that brush of it's got to be military, it's got to be realistic? It's like
lots of blood.
It's, you know, it's like I don't know about that. That makes me a little. I'm conflicted there, but I'm proud of the game. I think it's quite cool.
Now, going forward, you've talked pretty openly about how, you know, you're done with the bigger epic games. But at one point, you were working on kind of a script for God of War 3 or kind of an overview. So are you still kind of involved in that? Or?
Not really. I mean, I did the initial story. I did the initial sort of planning. And then I've pretty much, you know, handed it off to Corey. And he's adding his own twist and keeping what he likes and killing
Right.
what he doesn't. And, you know, I mean, I'm overseeing it as part of the creative directing process of Santa Monica, but, you know, the reality of it is this is really where I want to be right now, is sort of smaller games. And it doesn't mean necessarily casual games. It doesn't mean arcadey games. It just means I want to do games that take 10 to 12 months, 10 to 13 months. I want to do games that aren't always story-driven, that are more gameplay-driven. And so that, yeah, I'm really kind of stepping away from that almost entirely.
Now, obviously, you know, God of War 3, we don't know it's officially coming, but, you know, the idea is certainly God of War 2 at the end, there's a big setup for sort of a battle that's going to sort of shake the heavens.
Yes.
And that means your idea for what you would want to do if it happened would be this massive...
Yeah, the beginning and middle and end of God of War has been sort of set since the mid-production of God of War 1. So
Right.
I always knew that would be how God of War 2 ends. I know how God of War 3 is going to end. But a lot of the details at this point are going to be Corey's and his team to fill in those blanks.